Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk a little bit about Assetto Corsa Evo. This afternoon, the game's developers announced everything that's coming to the game in the next update, Update 0.6. So today, in this video, I'm going to brief you on everything that's been announced but also everything that hasn't been. For example, the release date of this update. It's always the same with Assetto Corsa. The devs generally have a hard time sticking to deadlines and schedules. No official date has been announced yet, but it's expected in the next few days. Once it's announced, I'll cover it in a video, so subscribe for updates. And don't forget that Assetto Corsa Evo is much cheaper through my instant gaming link, which you'll find below this video, in the pinned comment. We're talking about almost 50% off here, and every time you use my link to buy games, you support my channel at the same time. So it's really a win-win for everyone. First of all, there are quite a few good news regarding the features of this 0.6 update. For example, the arrival of dedicated servers hosted by players. That means, until now, if you wanted to have your own server, you had to go through a third-party host. You had to pay a monthly subscription to access it. Server rental will continue. For those who want to have servers for the long term, it can still be an interesting option. However, now, you can host your own server on your own PC, completely free of charge. We don't yet know how it will work or what server rule customizations we'll get, but we do know it's happening through a dedicated application that you can launch via Steam on PC, from which you can start and manage your server. Other players will be able to join it. By the way, this good news comes with a new netcode, which means, to put it simply, a new network architecture so that multiplayer games will run more smoothly. That means there will already be fewer disconnections, but also less uncertainty about where the other cars are. Because we're never perfectly synchronized, which means sometimes it's a very close call. We might think a car is in a certain spot, but according to the server, it's not exactly there. This can cause collisions or cars going off the track, and that's especially frustrating. For a game that wants to focus more on multiplayer, more esports oriented, by the way, since we're talking about esports, the game will now be compatible with Motec. That's more for the competitive side of the game. But you'll be able to record your telemetry data, meaning you'll have files where all your driving data is saved. When did you brake? How hard you braked? How hard you accelerated? When did you turn? In short, all the information about your driving, but also about your car, all this data, you'll be able to retrieve it, export it, and review it later. This will allow you, outside of your gaming sessions, to understand why you were faster on certain sections. Which line is really the best to take? Review all your driving and car details to further improve your next lap times and upcoming races. Another bit of good news, though less critical for gameplay, is a full overhaul of the control interface. Because right now, on Assetto Corsa Evo, when you want to assign the buttons on your wheel or your pedals to an action in the game, it's kind of a nightmare, let's be honest. The menus are not clear at all. And above all, there's a control menu for each separate control device. That means, for example, there's a menu for the steering wheel itself, a menu for the buttons on the wheel and possibly on its base, and another menu for the pedals. It's so annoying to reassign everything each time. Now, it looks like they'll merge many of the menus again, so that we only have one control list to assign instead of one for each element. There will also be an overhaul of the artificial intelligence. That's good news, since while the AI is better in version 0.5 than at the game's start, it's still not perfect. Here, I hope we're going to see a big difference because it's actually a brand new AI model that's going to be tested in this 0.6. That means it's not just an update to adapt or fix what's already there, but actually implementing a whole new AI system. They explained that, among other things, this was why version 0.6 was coming out so late. Because the next generation AI wasn't compatible with the track maps used by the older AI systems. So basically, they had to rethink the AI a bit for all the tracks in the game. The goal is to provide an AI that will be smarter, but above all, more interesting. That means, normally, according to what the developers say, we're finally going to move away from the single-file model. Because it's true that, up until now, in Assetto Corsa, the AIs don't attack much and just stay in a line. They mainly correct and adjust their trajectory to stay on track. But that's about it. Now, we're told they'll attempt more overtakes, both among themselves and against players. They'll try harder than before to overtake us. And they'll also be more willing than before to leave their racing line if needed, to pass, or simply to be faster. There will be several technical improvements for the game's graphics optimization and physics. Once again, with a new tire model, basically a new physics system. Don't worry, it's the Assetto Evo physics. We're simply talking about an updated version of the game's old physics. So the driving feel will basically be the same. The new game physics will use more driving data, simulating additional elements for a more realistic experience. Here, special attention has been given to the suspensions and the different types of suspensions. especially when it comes to cars equipped with coilover suspensions. We are assured that there will be a better feeling of weight transfer, better overall handling, and generally a bit more grip. C. Let's talk about what's really related to the functionality, technical aspects, and the basics of the game in this 0.6 update. Of course, there are also new things in terms of content, and actually, some changes to things that already exist. In particular, a slight improvement in the graphics and rendering of the Nürburgring track, with new visuals inspired by the current look. That is, the 2026 version of the track. Since ASSETTO CORSA EVO wants to provide us with an open world that will be located around the Nürburgring, they always want to offer the latest version of the Nürburgring, so that it's really, let's say, as realistic and as immersive as possible. Track modifications, but also the addition of a new track, Sebring, which we will now be able to drive on with 6 new cars confirmed for this update. Normally, there shouldn't be any others. And they're almost all really sporty cars. This time, there aren't really any cars that are, let's say, a bit too casual. We're going to have 2 new road models, the Ferrari
288 GTO,
Lamborghini Countach LP, 5000 QV, and 4 cars really focused on the track, with GT3 and GT4. In GT4, for example, we'll find the Audi R8, and then, on the GT3 side, the Ferrari 996, the Ford Mustang, as well as the Porsche 911 992 GT3. So here, I think there's nothing to buy. The road cars that were added are pretty exceptional. And then, I think that having more GT3 and GT4 cars in the game will make a lot of the community happy. Because, for now, in GT3, I think there's only one model. And in GT4, I'm not even sure there was even one. In the end, this update is kind of like the ASSETTO Corsa competition side, merging with ASSETTO EVO, with a strong competitive aspect from the GT3 and GT4 cars. The possibility for players who work hard to get their driving data with telemetry, a new network architecture that's supposed to secure multiplayer so that competitive matches go as smoothly as possible, among other things, and new private server systems, which will allow players to create and, most importantly, host tournaments for free. So, it's not that we'll be able to do whatever we want, but I think that's also the point. To give smaller esports organizations the opportunity to organize their own events at a lower cost. On ASSETTO CORSA EVO then, this is really the update, let's say, that's a bit focused on esports. Let us know in the comments what you think about it. Overall, it should be a pretty well-received update. Even though I don't think this is necessarily what everyone is waiting for, I still think the thing we're all waiting for is yet to come, the open world. Even though it would be criminal for ASSETTO CORSA EVO to release its open world when Horizon 6 open world is coming out at the same time. That's really the worst timing, and I think that, unfortunately, there are some players interested in ASSETTO EVO's open world who won't even set foot in it. We're going to need a lot more patience to discover this open world. It might not be until this summer. It's not a big deal. It's better for it to come out once it's really finished and without bugs. Rather than 6 months after its release, ASSETTO CORSA EVO decides to suspend it to completely rework it because there are too many errors. So, there you go. That's the 06. We'll be able to try these new features live as soon as they're released. If you're interested, follow me on Twitch for upcoming streams. The link will be in a pinned comment. You can even support my channel by using your Twitch Prime. As for this video, feel free to leave a like if you want to boost the visibility of my channel and this video. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you in a few days. So, to check out Sebring, the new cars, and maybe even test the private server system a bit with you live. See you.